Marhaba friends, QEMU on Windows correctly. Yes. To start off, let me show you the Windows version that I'm running, and it's Windows 11 21H2. Okay, we are going to use the virtualization features of our Intel CPU. To use it correctly, we must ensure that in our Windows features, we have turned off Hyper-V. If Hyper-V is turned on for you, make sure that it's turned off. Otherwise, you will not be able to use hardware acceleration with QEMU on Windows. In addition, make sure virtual machine platform, Windows hypervisor platform, they are also turned off. Otherwise, they will use the virtualization features of your Intel CPU and not QEMU, all right, or QEMU. Okay. Next up, let's move on to the hardware acceleration that we are going to download, which is called Intel Hardware Accelerated Execution Manager, Intel Haxm. I don't know how else I can pronounce it. And if you read that correctly, it's a cross-platform hardware assisted virtualization, which provides an acceleration for Android and QEMU. So it provides a KVM-like interface so that we can use the hardware capabilities, virtualization capabilities built into modern Intel CPUs, that is Intel virtualization technology. So go to the releases page and you see there 7.7.0 Windows zip file is there. Click on download, download it, and let's install it. So go to your download location and unzip it using 7-zip, and once you go there you will see Haxm setup.exe. You can use this. I am not going to use this. I am going to use Chocolatey, and if you don't have Chocolatey on your Windows machine, it is of paramount importance that you get it. I mean, just install Chocolatey. Yeah, come on. Okay, so let me fire up my Windows terminal. So right click and says run as administrator. Okay, UAC prompt, and OBS cannot record it. Okay, now we'll say Choco search for in Haxm. So Chocolatey will do its bit and it will say, okay, I found Haxm 7.7.0. And remember, the version was same, which we found on the GitHub site. So I'm going to say Choco install Haxm /y, and I'm giving it, by giving it /y, I'm giving it permission to install on my machine. Otherwise, I have to give it later on. So this will install the Intel's Hardware Accelerated Execution Manager on our machine, which is a kernel mode driver. Remember that. So it's at best that we restart a machine, but not yet. Next up, we are going to install QEMU. So this is the link for QEMU binaries for Windows 64-bit. And if we come down, we can see clearly it says QEMU for Windows is experimental software and might contain serious bugs, so use the binaries at own risk. And yes, the risks are involved, which can flare up a nuclear war, but we'll take the risk. All right, so the latest version we see here is 2021-8.25. Again, you guys can download it from here. I would not recommend it. Let's move over to Choco. So say I'm going to clear my screen. I'm just going to Choco search for QEMU. All right, and let's see QEMU 21.21.8.25. That is the same version that is available on the site. So I'm just going to say Choco install QEMU and /y. You know why I'm installing with Choco? I mean, when a new version is released, all I have to do is open up my terminal and say Choco upgrade all. So if there's a new version of Intel Haxm, or if there is a new version of QEMU, it'll just update it, and I don't have to go to the website and download it. Okay, now this is done. It is recommended that you restart your machine. Okay, now before restarting, let me stop my recording. Okay, and I am back, and we are going to use QEMU. How? First, we have to check whether our hardware acceleration manager Haxm has been installed correctly. So there's a query. We have to say sc query. What we have to query? Intel Haxm, and let's see what our results are. So let's see. You see, Intel Haxm type is a kernel driver, and it's running. It's stoppable, non-pausable, ignore shutdown, and exit codes are all 0. That means we are good to go. That means we have hardware acceleration running with the help of our Intel CPU. We need a relatively modern Intel CPU. Next up, we need See, you got it. We need a front end for the QEMU emulator. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys know this software. I mean, this is a big find. See, pre-built binaries for Windows available. So I'm going to go for the installer of the x86 64. Click on the link and then you download. And you see, it's not very late. In 2017, Sergio Carlavilla started the development of 2.0 version. New UI is based on Virt Manager. So pretty good, guys. So download it and let's go to the location where it's been downloaded and double click and install it. So once the installation starts, it says setup QEMU, and installation folder will keep it as default QEMU QtEmu. It's a Qt based front end for QEMU because Windows doesn't have a native software. I mean, this is the closest that I could find. That's why I said in my previous video, I'm going to show things in QEMU that hopefully are not on the internet. So accept the license, read it, and if you accept the license, click on next, next, and we are ready to install. Let's click on show the details, and we're done. Pretty fast. So QtEmu, that is a Qt based QEMU front end, is there for Windows. Great, great, great. And we are not using Virt Manager from Linux there. It's like that is different. Okay, so fire up QtEmu, and I'm using Keeperina, by the way, if you guys want to know. So first up is the QEMU binaries paths. This is very important, guys. Watch carefully. So click on the button there, and we have to browse to the folder where QEMU for Windows has been installed. So in our case, it's C, program files, and in every case, everybody's case is going to be there. So I'm going to hit the Q button on my keyboard, Q key, and QEMU, I don't know how can I pronounce it. Okay, now the next up is the QEMU image path. This is very important too. Next goes to C, you guessed it, C, program files, and again key Q, and then let's go inside QEMU, and we have to search for QEMU dash img. See, it's up there, Q image. This is the file that we need, qemu.image.exe. Yes, and the QEMU machines path, this is the drive or the folder where you want to save it. In my case, I want to save it in the F drive, so I'm going to select it F, and host name is going to be localhost, and port is 6000. I'm just going to keep the defaults. Finish, and what happened? Yes, we have our UI running. Great, great, great. So let's click on the buttons there in the menu and see what we are. This is fine. Machine will make any software. I'm going to check preferences. Okay, preferences, general options, looks good. Update QtEmu, not possible. I don't think so from here. Language is English, fine. Proxy, no, don't use the proxy QEMU. This is very important. If this screen doesn't come up, that means it has not been able to detect QEMU on Windows for your machine. So make sure you get this screen. Okay, let's install a virtual machine. So what are we going to do? We are going to install Manjaro. Yes, and the version is not Debian. Manjaro is based on Arch Linux or Linux. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Machine page. Okay, we see here the different machines that this software supports, and you see all this machine PC is 1996, which is old. Okay, old. Okay, this is also 2009, which is old but lesser old. And you see we select the highest version, which is PCQ35 3.0. So let's select that. CPU settings, CPU type is 486. Now click on that drop down and try to go browse all the way down to the max CPU that your machine supports. You know, guys, I tried with max, it did not work. I tried with host, it did not work. So the next thing I tried was base, and it works with base. So I'm going to select base, and we are going to move on and select the number of CPUs that we want to give. So for this, we have to bring up our task manager, and you guys have to bring it up too, because every CPU configuration is different. Okay, so go to the performance tab. You see on the right there, it says 1 socket, 2 cores, 4 logical processors. That means, so if I have to match it, so I say 1 socket, you see socket is 1, cores are 2, so cores per socket is 2, okay, and then the threads per core is 2, so I have 4 cores. But I'm not giving it, I'm going to give it all my CPU, so I'm going to reduce the threads per core count back to 1, so that I will just assign one thread per core. So that means effectively I'm assigning two CPUs, and max number of hot pluggable CPUs are 2. If you have 16 CPUs, go ahead, be my guest, allocate 8. I just have 4. I'm going to allocate 2. Okay, GPU type, okay, axis graphics. This is very important. You can choose VirtIO VGA card. In my testing, QXL para virtualized graphics card served best. Audio, it'll just select it based on your computer configuration. Good to go. Network, use user mode network connection. Click on next. See there, acceleration, Haxm. See guys, it's working. It was selected by default. You can use tiny code, but Haxm is far more better. So I would say use Haxm. Yeah, come on. And we are cool. I mean, we're golden. Yeah, I mean, Haxm works. I mean, we are using, okay, much memory. Okay, I have 8 gigs, and my Windows already taking 1.5 gigs. So I'm going to assign 4 gigs. Assign whatever you have. I mean, okay, so let's create a hard disk, and I'm going to see. I'm going to create a hard disk of the size, not too much. Let's say 30 gigs is fine. And this type QEMU is fine, but RAW gives best performance, so I'm going to check RAW. You can choose either the other ones if it suits you, but best is select RAW for performance or choose QEMU. All right, so machine summary, we are done, and let's click on finish. And it has already created the image, the disk for Manjaro, but we're not done yet. So let's go to machine settings. Remember, we have to provide an ISO to install Manjaro. Yeah, come on. All right. So CPU, graphics, RAM, and RAM looks good. Okay, everything looks good. Boot option. This is where we are going to select CD-ROM and hit the up arrow there to make it boot from CD-ROM and not from the hard disk, because we don't have any OS in the hard disk. The raw here we can add a floppy, a hard disk media, and an optical media. And you guess what? You guys have guessed it right. We have to add a hard disk optical media, and which is Manjaro XFCE 21.1.6 minimal. Yes. So, and let's go to the. We can even add a floppy. I don't know why we have a floppy. We can even add another disk. But if you go to add another optical media, it says only one CD-ROM can be added, which is a limitation of QTEMU, the front end, not QEMU on Windows. Okay, networks look good, Intel hardware acceleration looks good. Click on save. And now I'm going to get rid of Satan and invoke the blessings of Allah by saying, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and we are going to begin now. So click on the button which says play there to fire up our virtual machine. Bismillah. Yes, liftoff. We have a liftoff. All right. So boot with proprietary drivers, keyboard works, and you guys, we are golden. I mean, yes, we are. I mean, we have some UI, man. Come on. And this is not using the virtual manager running WSL on, using Ubuntu on WSL. This is a native software for Windows, and it is employing QEMU, and it is also employing Haxm, which is the Intel Hardware Acceleration Manager. So it is going to give us better performance that you've ever seen for QEMU on Windows. I mean, QEMU is suited for Linux. I mean, hands down any day. But for Windows, because you have KVM acceleration, okay. But that is on Linux. But on Windows, we don't have KVM acceleration. We either have tiny code generator (TCG), and better than that, we have Intel Hardware Accelerated Manager. I mean, Haxm. But you must have relatively modern CPU to use it, and you also have to install the Intel Haxm code that I showed you. And using both of them, we are going to be golden, and we can use QEMU on Windows. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, this is not on the internet as of now, not on Google. I mean, it's probably on Google, but not on YouTube. So, and you see, we have wired connection. So we have internet, guys. Also, great. So I'm excited, yeah. Okay. So click on launch installer. I don't want to launch this on start, and I am having little trouble with my mouse, so that's okay. Okay, now from here on, Linux is, I mean, anybody install Manjaro ever, or Linux, Manjaro in general is going to be easy. So click on next, 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 and once we come up to the screen where it says disk manager is where I'm going to show you what we need to do. Okay, so this is fine. Okay, just see, it is selecting the disk and it is biased, guys. I mean, it's not UEFI. Now, this is again a limitation of QTEMU, not QEMU on Windows. Okay, so bias is okay, and we'll erase the disk because we don't have, see, package manager update. So internet is working cool, and we'll say swap with no hibernate. And you see at the bottom there, 3 GB is for swap with no hibernation and 27 GB for Manjaro. And bootloader location looks good to me. MBR of hard disk, since we just have one disk, we are good to go. So let's click on next and fill in the information and click on next. And you see the changes, 3 GB swap, 27 GB Manjaro. Cool. Click on install now, and you're going to install. You won't be able to undo, and I know that. And we're going to click on install, and we are finished installing. Now the issue here is if you click on restart now and click on done, then it will boot back into the Manjaro CD. Remember, we had pushed the CD-ROM boot order up. So what we need to do, we need to fire up our, see, it's back with the installation again. It's installed. I mean, our hard disk, our raw hard disk has Manjaro. So I'm going to kill the process from here, from my task manager, and we're going to go back to QTEMU, and we're going to uncheck boot from CD-ROM. Okay, so let's go to boot options and uncheck CD-ROM. Click on HDD and hit up to boot from hard disk, and we're going to remove the CD-ROM from the list of hardware that this machine has. So I think, and we are done. Yes, we are done. We are golden, guys. We are cool. Okay, so let's click on save, and I'm going to start up this time directly into the Manjaro installation that we have. Okay, booting from hard disk, cool. So we have UI there, and I'm going to maximize it, and after some time we are going to log into Manjaro. Yes, we have logged into Manjaro, but I'm going to check full screen, and it looks stretched, doesn't it? Because it doesn't have the resolution that my monitor supports. So I'm going to use my keyboard, and you know what, guys, I am struggling with my mouse. I don't know why I'm struggling with my mouse. It's a quirk of this software. So anything I do from now, I'll try to do it with my keyboard. But you see, I'm trying to bring the mouse to click on the terminal emulator, and it's coming back to the center of the screen. Oh yes, we have more settings manager, and we have a new kernel and package manager updates. And to show you that we have a functional machine, I am going to update to the latest bits for Manjaro. So I'm going to say sudo pacman -syyU. So it's going to, okay, with great power comes great responsibility. I know that. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Think before you type. We've done that. Respect the privacy of others. I do. Okay. So starting full system upgrade. INXI. Okay. Yes. We're done. So yes. Okay. Again, hit up arrow, and this time we should not find any upgrade. So there's nothing to do. I wish Monday mornings were like this. There is nothing to do. Okay, no. All right, so we are here, and I am going to even update the kernel. Remember, they gives a message about updating the kernel. So again, guys, the only problem I faced is, dude, okay, first I'm going to fix the display. Okay, so display, choose the resolution that is native for your monitor. And if you choose a different resolution like I am doing right now, then you will be having a problem. So I'm going to apply, and you see, this is the screen. So I'm going to change it again, and this is the resolution that is closest to the resolution that my monitor has, and see, it looks better now. Okay, so I'm going to keep this resolution, and I'm going to update the kernel. You guys, the only problem I am facing right now is the mouse, and I don't know why. I mean, maybe you guys will have a better experience than me with my. See, I'm trying to click on install, and the mouse is just floating to the left. Okay, I managed to click on install, and I installed, updated the kernel. The kernel has been updated, and pretty good. I mean, guys, that's it. That's it, guys. So we have Manjaro on QEMU, and I said I should show you some things that were not on the internet. Hopefully, they were not on the internet. It is not on the internet. Thank you so much, guys. Take care, and I'll be back very soon with another surprising video. Thank you. Take care.